in one particular journal entry, if both cash as well as bank column have come together, or cash account and bank account have come together, so it is called as contra entry. The total of debit is equal to total of credit, or if we record a debit, it should have a corresponding credit. Then it is called as what? Double entry system of bookkeeping. In order to remind the buyer regarding the current debt obligation, so seller is having this debit note. Hello everyone, I am Harshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. My dear first year B.B.A students, today we shall discuss your paper, that is Fundamentals of Business Accounting, and this will be your first year NEP question paper. So let us see how they have asked in your previous question paper, how the question paper have been divided and what type of questions they have asked. So if you see your question paper, so the total weightage of your paper is for 60 marks. So 60 you will write and 40 will be your internals, correct? So 60 will be the weightage of your question paper, and they have divided the question paper into 3 parts, that is part A, part B and part C. So the total question paper or the whole question paper is divided into 3 parts, that is part A, part B and part C, and part A is of 2 marks questions. So all the questions in part A will be of 2 marks. So they will ask you 7 questions, out of which you have to answer any 5. So they will ask you 7 questions and you have to answer only 5. So the total weightage is 10 marks. So this is a part A which carries 2 marks question. Coming to part B, so this is a 10 marks question. So you will have 2 marks, 10 marks and 15 marks. So your part B is of 10 marks where they will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer only 2. So other 2 questions will be an option for you. So they'll ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer any 2, and the total weightage is 20 marks. Coming to part C, so it is 15 marks question. So your part C is all about 15 marks question. So they'll ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer only 2. So 2 more will be an option for you. So the total weightage is 30 marks. So hope you are clear about how the question paper will be. So the total question paper or the whole question paper will be divided into 3 parts. Part A is of 2 marks question where there will be 7 questions and you are going to answer only 5. Next, part B is of 10 marks where they will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer only 2. And coming to part C, it is 15 marks question. There also they will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer only 2. So this is about your question paper pattern. Now coming to the questions. So let us see what type of questions they have asked in your previous question paper under part A, that is for 2 marks. So your first question itself, what is contra entry? Give example. So where do we come across contra entry? In your double column as well as 3 column cash book, correct? So how you have to answer, and they have particularly asked with examples you have to explain what is contra entry. So let us see what is the answer for this question. So contra entry is made on both the debit and credit side. So leave about this explanation. So to be simple, so in one particular journal entry, if both cash as well as bank column have come together, or cash account and bank account have come together, so it is called as contra entry. So contra entry is made on both the debit and credit side. So when you have cash and bank account which is coming together in one particular journal entry, of course in 2 column and 3 column cash book, you have to record on both debit and credit side, correct? So contra entry which is recorded in both debit and credit side of double column cash book to record a single transaction is called as contra entry. So it is recorded in both double column as well as in triple column cash book, where on both debit and credit side, if you are going to record the entry, then it is called as contra entry. So for example, when cash is deposited into bank, so what is the entry? Your entry is bank account data to cash account, correct? In the same way, when cash is withdrawn from the bank, what is the entry? cash account data to bank account. Correct? So, in both these two cases, bank account and cash account have come together in one journal entry. So, if you see this journal entry, bank account and cash account have come together in one journal entry. And if you see this one also, cash account and bank account have come together in one journal entry. So, this is called as what? Contra entry, where you have to record on both debit and credit side. So, your example is when cash deposited into bank or the amount deposited is entered in the bank column on the debit side and the same amount is entered in the cash column on the credit side. So, you will come to know when you know how to record the journal entry in the ledger account. So, when bank and cash column have come together in one particular journal entry, then we will record in both debit and credit side. That is called as contra entry. So, following transactions involve contra entry. So, what are the example? Cash deposited into bank and cash withdrawn from the bank. In both the cases, we will have cash account and bank account which will be written in one particular journal entry. So, the letter C. So, how do we denote contra entry? With the capital letter C in the ledger folio column. So, written in ledger folio while making the contra entry. So, for 2 marks children, you have to write at least 2 sentences. So, you can go through this. So, first sentence you can write the meaning of contra entry. Next, you can write one example relating to contra entry. Now, coming to your second question, what is double entry system of bookkeeping? So, simple question they have asked here, what is double entry system? So, you know, for each and every debit, there should be a corresponding credit, correct? So, double entry system is called as what? Complete system of bookkeeping. So, it is a complete system of bookkeeping. It is a method of recording transaction where an entry is recorded at least 2 accounts as a debit or credit, or to be simple, the total of debit is equal to total of credit, or if we record a debit, it should have a corresponding credit. Then it is called as what? Double entry system of bookkeeping. So, for 2 marks, you can write it as it is a complete system of bookkeeping and the total of debit should be equal to total of credit. So, this is known as what? Double entry system of bookkeeping. Now, coming to the third question, name any 4 users of accounting information. Of course, we will present our accounting information in the form of trading, profit and loss account and balance sheet. Now, they have asked, name any 4 users of accounting information. So, the accounting information is very important in each and every organization. So, here the question is that, name any 4 users of accounting information. So, how you can write the answer? So, accounting information helps in budgeting as well as planning. So, if you take a particular year, by referring the accounting information, we can decide the budget as well as planning can also happen. Helps in decision making process, helps to know the financial position of the business, that is whether the business is in profit or loss, what would be the financial position, what is the value of assets and liabilities we have in the business. So, these are all known by the financial information. Helps to have a good control over the assets and liabilities. So, this you can write it for 2 marks. They have specifically asked name any 4 users of accounting information. So, you have to write the 4 points. Next, fourth question, list out various types of accounting software. So, if you see my previous sessions, we have discussed your 5th unit on accounting software. So, here they have asked list out various types of accounting software and the answer is, so, free accounting software, next one is small business accounting software, next enterprise accounting software and fourth one is online accounting software. Since it is only 2 marks, so you can write all these 4 types of accounting softwares. Next one is write a note on debit note. So, where do we come across debit note? In your subsidiary books. Correct? So, how to write the answer? A debit note is a document used by the seller to remind the buyer of current debt obligations. So, in order to remind the buyer regarding the current debt obligation, so seller is having this debit note. So debit note is a document which is used by whom? Which is used by the seller. Why? In order to remind the buyer about the debt obligations, or a document used by the buyer to return the goods borrowed. So it is also used by the buyer for the goods returned to be borrowed, or in order to return the goods which is been borrowed. So this debit note is been used. The debit note could contain information about an upcoming payment or serve as a reminder of current amount due. So what do you mean by debit note? It is used by the seller to remind the buyer about the current debt obligations. So this is about your debit note. So in your particular syllabus, you will come across this debit note under subsidiary books, or in order to return the goods back. So buyer can use the debit note. Next, sixth question. What is petty cash book? So these are all 2 marks question, children. So what is petty cash book? So it is a petty means what? Small. Correct? So petty means small. So all the transactions which are recorded in one particular cash book, all small transactions are recorded in one particular cash book, which is known as what? Petty cash book. So petty cash book is a subsidiary cash book which is used to record all the petty or small expenses like printing and stationery, postage, telegram, stationery items, purchase of books, purchase of pencil. So all these small transactions are recorded in one particular book which is known as petty cash book. So petty cashier, one who maintains a petty cash book is called as petty cashier. So since it is a 2 marks question, so you can write 2 to 3 sentences here. So petty cashier maintains the petty cash book. Petty cashier works on impress system. So we have solved lot of problem on petty cash book where the petty cashier uses the impressed system. So you can go through the previous session and know about what is this impressed system. The amount which is given to the petty cashier in the beginning of certain period is called as what? Impressed amount. Normally, your petty cash book works under impress system where the main cashier will give certain amount to the petty cashier on a regular basis, which is called as what? Impressed amount. So petty cash book is also known as subsidiary cash book. So it is also known as what? Subsidiary cash book. So this much or 2 sentences enough for 2 marks. Next, 7th question they have asked. Classify the following accounts into personal, real and nominal account. So we have discussed what is this personal account, real account and nominal account. So personal account is all related to persons and institutions. Real account is related to properties and nominal account is all related to income as well as expense. Now in your previous question paper, they have given you 4 items: capital account, furniture account, drawings account as well as bad debts account. So they have given you 4 items where they are asking us to classify whether it is a personal account, whether it is a real account or it is a nominal account. So as I told you, if you want to know how to classify, first you have to know the meaning of personal account. Personal account, it is all related to persons or institutions. Okay. Real account is related to what? That is properties. Nominal account is related to income as well as expenses. Now what is the answer for this question? Capital account, it is a personal account because it is related to a particular person. Furniture account, it is a property, so it is a real account. Drawings, it is also related to person where the owner withdraws the amount, so it is personal account. Next, bad debts, so it is a nominal account because it is related to income as well as expenses. Nominal account is related to income as well as expenses, so bad debt account is a nominal account. So these are the 7 questions they have asked in your section A for 2 marks. Now come to section B or part B. So let us see what are the questions they have asked in your part B for 10 marks. So answer any 2 of the following questions, each carries 10 marks. So each question carries 10 marks here. So let us see the 8th question. Till 7 question, it is of 2 marks. Now the 8th question. What do you mean by accounting standards? What are its objectives? So, they have asked you what is the meaning of accounting standards and what are its objectives. Let us see how you have to answer this question. So, accounting standards can be any form of statement. So, it can be any form of statement which consists of rules and guidelines used by the accounting institutions. So, there are certain institutions who have provided us accounting rules and guidelines. In a sense, they tell us how we have to record the transactions in the books of accounts. So, that rules and guidelines which are provided by the accounting institutions are called as what? Accounting standards. So, normally why we have to follow these rules and guidelines? Because in order to maintain the uniformity in the books of accounts. So, what is this accounting standard? So, you can write on your own words if you know the meaning of accounting standard. So, accounting standards are the rules and guidelines which are given by the accounting institutions. Or, in order to maintain the uniformity in the books of account, certain rules and regulations or certain rules and guidelines to be followed in the accounts. So, in order to maintain the uniformity. So, that is known as what? Accounting standards. So, then they have asked a sub-question that what are the objectives of accounting standards? So, you can go on writing the objectives. So, as I told you, in order to maintain the uniformity, in order to maintain the consistency in the books of account, in order to make the comparison easy from firm to firm as well as inter-firm as well as intra-firm. Like that, you can go on answering your objectives. Okay, so the first one is the main aim is to improve the reliability of the financial statement. When there is a particular rules and regulations, of course, reliability of the financial statement also increases. Correct? And the next one is accounting standard helps in comparing. So, I have told you comparison can also made through inter-firm as well as intra-firm. Inter-firm in the sense within the firm, intra-firm in the sense outside the firm. So, that comparisons can also happen. Next one is it also looks to provide a set of accounting policies that include the necessary disclosure requirements. So, if you see a particular accounting standards, it includes all the rules and guidelines. So, it tells us how the transactions has to be recorded, what type of transactions we have to record, how to record, what is the format, each and everything will be included in that particular accounting standard. And the next one is attains uniformity in accounting. Suppose if I am a firm and if I am the owner of a particular business organization and if I am not following the accounting standards, then I can't compare my accounting result with that of the firm who is following the accounting standards. So, that comparison cannot happen. So, if all the firms are following the same accounting standards, then the comparisons can be made regarding the financial position of the business. So, this would be the objective in order to maintain the uniformity. Next one is prevents frauds as well as accounting manipulations. So, this accounting standards helps in preventing frauds because each and every organization have to follow this accounting standards. So, there are certain rules and guidelines which are to be followed. So, this fraud as well as manipulations can be reduced. Next one is assessed auditors with regards to all accounting policies, rules, regulations, etc. in a written format. These policies have to be followed. So, it tells to the auditor also. It's not only useful for the accountant, it helps the auditor also because it helps to know what are the rules and regulations to be followed, what are the guidelines to be followed. So, each and everything can be learnt in detail. Next one is determining the managerial accountability by measuring the performance of the management of an entity. So, even the managerial activities can also be measured by using the accounting standards. So, hope you are clear with this question. So, this is a 10 marks question. They have asked you what is accounting standard, explain the objectives of accounting standard. So, this much you can write it for 10 marks. Next question, 9th question. Here also again a theory question has been asked. So, what is accounting software? Explain the advantages of Tally software. So, this is also a 10 marks question. So, out of 4 questions, you have to answer any 2. Correct? So, 2 questions itself they have asked theory questions and 2 more question is a practical oriented question. Okay. So, they have asked you what is accounting software, what are the advantages of Tally software. So, let us see the answer. Accounting software is a computer program that assists the bookkeepers and the accountants in recording and reporting the firm's financial transactions. So, you know, in each and every business organization, daily there are number of transactions that takes place. So, this Tally or the accounting software is a computerized program which helps the bookkeeper as well as accountant in order to record the transaction. So, it is a computer program. So, that is a computer program that helps the bookkeeper and accountant in order to record the transaction on a daily basis. The functionality of accounting software differs from product to product. So, depending upon the organization, depending upon the availability of resources, so this accounting software differs. Next sub-question they have asked, what are the advantages of Tally software? Okay, so you can go on writing the advantages because it is one of the important software which is being used in accounting, and you might have heard about Tally software also. So, let us see what are the advantages. So, the first one is data reliability and security. So, in Tally software, data reliability and security is more. So, this Tally software has more advantages. Next, there is no scope for entering the data after being entered into the software. So, you can't change the data which has been already entered. Next one is payroll management. Of course, it also helps in payroll management by knowing what would be the salary to be given to the employees, what are the wages to be given to the workers. In the sense, all the details of employees as well as workers can be maintained. Next one is Tally is used to maintain the financial record. So, it also helps in maintaining the financial record of the company that includes net deduction, net payment, bonus, tax. So, everything can be included. So, a proper accounting record can be maintained. Next one is management in the banking sector. So, it also helps in the banking sector. So, it is also one of the advantage. Next, Tally support ensures ease in the calculation. So, the calculations can be made very easily with the help of accounting software or Tally software. Tally support can make the calculation easy and banking simpler. Even in the banking sector also, Tally software is being used in order to make the calculations more easily. Next, regulations of data across the geographical location. It is not only confined to a particular area or a particular organization. So, this Tally software is used all over through the globe. So, it is used globally. Next, Tally can bring together all branches. Suppose if an organization is having various branches across the world, so all the accounting transactions of all the branches can be obtained together. Next one is easy maintaining of budget. Even the budget can also be maintained easily. Next, simple tax returns filing. Even for the tax calculation also, Tally software can be used. Next, audit tool for compliance. Even it acts as an audit tool. So, for the auditors. Next, it does a thorough compliance check through the financial year beginning. So, from the financial year beginning to the financial year ending, all the accounting transactions can be checked easily. Next, remote access of data. Even for the interior places also, so whatever the data which has been entered can be easily accessed. Next, quick access to documents. So, there are number of documents to be maintained in the books of accounts like invoice, receipts, cash memos. So, all these invoices can also be preserved or all these vouchers can also be preserved using Tally software. So, these are the advantages of Tally software. So, for 10 marks, whatever you remember, you can write on your own words. So, you can analyze what would be the uses of Tally software. Now, let us see the next question what they have asked for 10 marks. So, here they have asked a simple question on BRS, that is bank reconciliation statement. Now, go through the question here. The cash book shows a bank balance of rupees 7,800. On comparing your cash book with passbook, the following difference were found. So, they have asked prepare bank reconciliation statement. Now, whenever you see a problem on BRS, that is bank reconciliation statement, First, you have to know which is a base book. Now, if you see the problem here, the cash book shows a bank balance. In the sense, they have given the base book as cash book. In the same way, suppose if they give the passbook shows a bank balance, then passbook will be the base book. Hope you have understood. First, you have to identify the base book. In this problem, cash book is a base book. Now, go through the transactions what they have given. So, the first transaction is check deposited into bank but not credited rupees 3000. Now, which is your base book? Cash book is your base book. So, cash book is maintained by the organization. Passbook is maintained by the bank. Now, you have to assume yourself that you are the organization, one who is maintaining the cash book. Okay. And passbook is maintained by the bank. Now, which is a base book throughout the problem? That is, cash book is your base book. Now, when check is deposited but not collected by the bank. So, when check is deposited, this is cash book, this is passbook, your base is cash book. So, when check is deposited, you show more balance in your cash book, but passbook, bank have not collected the amount, correct? So, it is showing less balance, which is my base book. Cash book is my base book. Adjust your base book to the other book. So, what you have to do? Minus. So, this is minus. Next one, check issued but not presented for payment. So, check issued in the sense you have written a check and you have sent. Now, this is cash book which is maintained by you and the passbook is maintained by the bank. When check is issued, what happens? You will show less balance because you have written a check and you have sent. So, your bank balance decreases. Now, passbook is showing more balance, which is my base book. Cash book is my base book. I have to adjust to passbook. So, what I have to do? Add. So, the second one is add. Next, insurance premium paid by the bank. So, insurance premium is paid by whom? Bank. That is, passbook decreases. Now, which is my base book? Cash book. So, I have to adjust cash book to passbook. So, what I have to do? Minus. So, the next one is minus. Next, bank interest credited by the bank. Credit means always remember increase. So, bank interest credited by whom? Bank. That is, passbook increases. Correct? Now, my base is cash book. So, I have to adjust cash book to passbook. What I have to do? Add. Next one, bank charges rupees 100 debited in the passbook. Debited means what? Decrease. Where? In the passbook. So, passbook decreases. My base is what? Cash book. I have to adjust cash book to passbook. So, what I have to do? Minus. Next, directly deposited by a customer into bank, rupees 4000. Directly deposited by a customer into bank. So, my passbook increases. Where I don't know any information about deposited into bank, correct? So, my cash book is showing less balance. I have to adjust cash book to passbook. So, what I have to do? Add. So, this is add. Dividend on shares collected by the bank and credited where? In the passbook. Credited means what? Increase in passbook. So, dividend on shares collected by the bank and credited in passbook. So, my passbook increases. My base is what? Cash book. Cash book is showing less balance. I have to adjust cash book to passbook. What I have to do? Add. So, only this much. They'll give you all the transaction with the amount. Just you have to know whether it has to be add or minus. So, as I told you, whenever you see a problem, so you have to know which is a base book first, and as per the base book, you have to adjust to other books. Now, let us see how we have to write the solution here. So, this would be the format of bank reconciliation statement. You will write the heading bank reconciliation statement, and the format is simple. You will have particulars and to amount column. And this is a column where you have written in order to write add as well as less. So, how do you start? So, first you will write bank balance as per cash book. So, in this problem they have given bank balance as per cash book. So, what is the amount they have given? So, amount is 7,800. So, you will write the amount in the second column. Next, anyhow you have identified which are the items to be added and which are the items to be deducted. So, first take all the add items, write the sentence as it is and write the amount in the inner column. So, you will have B, D and F and G. B, D, F and G. So, write the sentence as it is. Check issued but not presented for payment. Write the amount in the inner column. In the same way, D, F and G. Write all the sentence as it is given in the question and write the amount as it is given in the question in the inner column. So, these are the add items. Add everything from here to here, write the amount here. That is 7,900. Now 7,800 plus 7,900, you will get 15,700. In the same way, take all the minus item. That is A, then C, then E. So write the sentence as it is, write the amount in the inner column. So what are the sentence you have to write? As it is what I have given in the question, A, C and E, and write the amount in the inner column, that is 3,000, 2,000 and 1,000 as in the sentence. Same sentence you will write and the amount in the inner column. Total it, write in the outer column. Now 15,700 minus 5,100, you will get 10,600. So when you begin your problem with bank balance as per cash book, your answer should be bank balance as per passbook. So this you have to be careful. Suppose if you start with bank balance as per passbook, then your answer should be bank balance as per cash book. Clear? So this is how we are going to solve the problem on BRS. Hope you are clear with the solution. Now we shall go through the next question. That is 11th question they have asked on 10 marks. Okay. So prepare a trial balance. So here you are familiar about the trial balance, correct? So they have asked you prepare a trial balance from the following ledger balances. So they have given you certain ledger balances and they have asked us to prepare the trial balance for 10 marks. Now go through this. So they have given. So here when you see a problem on trial balance, so what you have to do? Just you have to know which are the amount to be debited and credited. So for this, how we have to remember all the assets, expenses should be debited. All the liabilities, income, then capital to be credited. Okay, so this much you have to remember. So this is credit and this is debit. Now go through this. Capital. So what you have to do? It is credit. Next, drawings. It is debit. Land and building, it is an asset. So debit. Stock is an asset. Debit. Machinery, debit. Tools, it is also an asset. Debit. Furniture, debit. Rent, it is an expense. Debit. Salary, it is also an expense. Debit. Debtors is an asset. Debit. Creditors is a liability, so credit. Purchases, so purchases is what? It is an expense, so debit. Sales, it is an income, so credit. Next, discount received, it is an income, credit. Office expenses, it is an expense, debit. Wages is an expense, debit. Carriage inward is an expense, debit. Bills receivable is an asset, debit. Sundry expenses, it is an expense, debit. Income tax paid, it is an expense, debit. Cash on hand, it is an asset, debit. Cash at bank is an asset, debit. Okay, so just you have to know whether what items to be debited and what items to be credited. So let us see the solution here. So first you will write the heading trial balance of Mr. Shekhar as on 31st/12/2021. Your format is simple. Serial number, name of the account, ledger folio, debit rupees, credit rupees. So as I told you, capital you will write in the credit amount. Credit side. Okay, so capital credit. Drawings, debit. Land and building, debit. Stock, debit. Machinery, debit. Tools, debit. Furniture, debit. Rent is an expense, debit. Salary is an expense, debit. Debtors is an asset, debit. Creditors is liability, so credit. Next, purchase, it is an expense, debit. Sales, it is an income, so credit. Discount received is an income, credit. Next, office expense, it is an expense, debit. Wages expense, debit. Carriage inward expense, debit. Bills receivable is an asset, so debit. Sundry expenses, debit. Income tax paid expense, debit. Cash on hand asset, debit. Cash at bank, asset, debit. Then total both the side, your total should be equal on both the side. Debit and credit side should be equal. Then only your trial balance is correct. So easy to remember, all the assets as well as expenses you have to debit. In the same way, drawings also you have to debit. Credit all the income as well as all the liability, and capital you will credit. So understood about how you have to prepare the trial balance? Simple problem, children. So your both debit and credit side should be equal. It means that your trial balance is correct. These are all about 10 marks question. They have asked you 2 theory question as well as 2 practical. One is on BRS as well as trial balance. Next, part C, 15 marks question. Answer any 2 of the following questions. Each question carries 15 marks. So let us see what type of questions they have asked. Okay, so one theory question they have asked, define accounting, explain or briefly explain the accounting concepts. So they have particularly asked accounting concept, very important question. Either it comes for 10 marks or 15 marks. So you have to know what are the accounting concepts you have and you have to know the explanation relating to that also. Now when they ask define accounting, you have to write the definition which is given by American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, which defines accounting is an art of recording, classifying and summarizing in a significant manner in terms of money, transactions and events which are in part at least of a financial character and interpreting the results thereof. So when they ask define accounting, you have to write the definition only. Okay, so don't write the meaning there. You have to learn this definition. So it is better to learn one definition so that if they ask the meaning also, you can write on your own words while by comparing the definition. Okay, so learn this definition properly. Very important question. You might get for 2 marks also, define accounting, or even for the 10 marks define accounting and a sub question might be asked, or for 15 marks also define accounting and a sub question will be asked. So learn this definition properly. Next, relating to the accounting concepts. So we have discussed all the accounting concepts in detail. So there are nearly 10 accounting concepts. So here itself I'll explain what does this accounting concepts mean. So accounting concepts means what? It is the basic assumptions or ideas which are being followed while recording in the books of accounts. So let us see the concept one by one. What does business entity concept tells? Business and owner are not one and the same. They are 2 different entities. So you have to write the explanation for that. Okay. So business entity concept tells us business and owner are not one and the same. They are separate unit or separate entity. Okay. So even the owner can withdraw amount from the organization which is called as drawings. In the same way, he can invest into the business which is called as capital. So that is about business entity concept. Next, the second one is money measurement concept. You know, in business, or in accounting, we will record only those transactions that can be measured in terms of money. So your money measurement concept tells us record those transactions which can be measured only in terms of money. There are number of transactions that takes place daily. Even though it affects the profitability of the business, don't record those transactions in the books of account. Record only those transactions which can be measured in terms of money. Next, third one, going concern concept. So it tells us people may come and go, but the business will continue for a longer period of time. So there are number of changes in vice principal, president of the organization, chairman of the organization, but the business will not stop. It will run for a longer period of time. In the sense, it keeps on going. That is your going concern concept. Next one is accounting period concept. So the duration in which you will put all the transaction together and prepare a financial statement. So that period is called as what? Accounting period. Normally your accounting period will start from 1st April to 31st March. If you take the calendar year, then it starts from 1st January to 31st December. So this is about your accounting period concept. Next, cost concept or historical cost concept. So it tells us we will record those items in the books of account. It's not only the purchase price. Until that asset is being used for the first time, whatever the expenses which are relating to that, all are termed as cost. For example, if I purchase a machinery worth rupees 1 lakh, so it is 1 lakh is not cost price of the asset. So it includes plus installation, plus transportation, all these expenses are togetherly combined, and until I am going to use that asset for the first time, so all that costs are considered as cost. All that expenses are considered as cost. So that is your cost concept or historical cost concept. Next, dual aspect concept or accounting equation concept. So it tells us for each and every transaction there is a debit with that of corresponding credit. So we will come across under double entry system of bookkeeping, which tells us for each and every debit there should be a corresponding credit. And it is also called as accounting equation concept, where it tells us assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. So that is your dual aspect concept, which tells us assets is equal to liabilities plus capital. You can reverse that formula and write also liability is equal to asset minus capital. Capital is equal to assets minus liabilities. Next, revenue recognition concept or realization concept. So this concept tells us, so we will record those transactions when it is actually incurred, not when actually we are going to receive the amount or pay the amount. So you might have heard about outstanding, correct? So in books of account, we will record the transaction when the transaction have actually incurred, not when the actual payment or actual receiving of amount takes place. So that is about your revenue recognition concept or realization concept. Next one is matching concept. Here in this concept, we are going to match the total expenses with that of total income. If the expense is more than income, then it is loss. If the income is more than expenses, then it is profit. So matching concept tells us we are going to match the total income with that of total expenses of an organization in that particular period in order to know the net profit or net loss of the organization. Next, accrual concept. It also tells us we will record the transaction when the transaction have actually incurred, not when we actually make the payment or receive the amount. So that is your accrual concept. Next one is last is objectivity concept, which tells us when we have to record anything in the books of account or any transaction in the books of account, it should have a proper documentary evidence. So which can be in the form of voucher. So that is your objectivity concept. Hope you are clear with define accounting and explain the accounting concepts. Next we shall see which is the next 15 marks question they have asked in your previous question paper. So they have asked enter the following transaction in the cash book with cash, bank and discount column. So where do we prepare this cash, bank and discount column? In a triple column cash book, or it is also called as 3-column cash book. Now we shall see the transaction. So my dear students, my suggestion is that when you attempt a 3-column cash book problem, so randomly you just write a rough journal entry so that it will be easy for you to record the transaction. Now so go through the first transaction here. 1/11/2021, opening balance of cash book 80,000 and bank 50,000. Now, what is the format of triple column cash book? So, write the heading 3-column cash book. You will be having debit and credit side. So, your debit side starts from date, receipts, ledger folio, discount, cash and bank. So, we are having 3 columns. So, it is called as 3-column cash book. You will have discount column, cash column and bank column. Coming to your credit side also, date, payments, ledger folio, discount column, cash column and bank column. Here also you are having 3 columns. Okay. Now we shall go through the first transaction and solve here only. Okay. Opening balance of cash book 80,000 and bank they have given 50,000. So how do you write in your triple column cash book? You will write it as 2 balance brought down with the date. So cash 80,000, bank 50,000. Next one, 2/11/2021, purchase goods from Divya for cash and by check rupees 10,000. Now, what is the journal entry? Purchase goods from Divya. So, your entry is purchases account, 2 cash and 2 bank. Correct? So, cash is 20,000 and bank is 10,000. Same thing you have record in your triple column cash book. So, how do you record? By purchases. So, we are preparing cash book, triple column cash book which is having cash, bank and discount column. So, you will record it as by purchases. So, by purchases in cash column 20,000, bank column 10,000. Next one, sold goods for cash. What is your entry? Cash to sales. So leave this cash account because we are preparing cash book. Remaining is what? 2 sales, but you write the amount in the cash column. So 2 sales, write the amount in the cash column 15,000. Next one, 5/11/2021 paid cash into bank. So this is a contra entry. So what is the entry? Bank account data to cash account. So bank and cash account have come together in one particular journal entry. So it is what? It is a contra entry which has to be denoted by the letter C. So how do you write? By bank account to cash account. So you have to write this 5/11/2021 by bank account, indicate by the letter C contra entry, and you have to write the amount in the cash column. So this you have to be careful. When it is bank, you have to record the amount in the cash column. In the same way, on the same day, since it is a contra entry, you will record the entry on both the side, debit and credit side. So here you will write to cash account, indicate by the letter C, then you will write the amount in the bank column. If it is cash, you have to write the amount in the bank column. So this is about contra entry. Very important. It carries 2 marks because in each side you will have 1 entry each. Next one, received from Bharat cash in full settlement of his account 6,500. Received from Bharat. So we have received cash. So your entry is cash account. Then we have allowed him discount. So discount allowed to Bharat's account. So how do you write? To Bharat. So you'll write it as to Bharat. So you'll write to Bharat's account. Discount 500 we have allowed and 6,000 in the cash column. Next, withdrawn for personal use by check. What is the entry? Drawings to bank. Drawings to bank. So how do you write? Leave this bank. Remaining is by drawings, but the amount has to be written in the bank column. So by drawings, amount to be written in the bank column. Next one is received a check of rupees 8,000 from Ramu in full settlement of rupees 8,200. So my dear students, here always remember, even though it is received check, but it is not deposited on the same day, so we have to assume that we have received cash. So check is in the form of cash in our hand. So what is the entry? When received a check of rupees 8,000 from Ramu in full settlement of his account. So what is the entry? So your entry is received a check of rupees 8,000. So he had to give 8,200, but he has given only 8,000. In the sense, we have allowed him what? Discount. So how do you record in your triple column cash book? That is to Ramu's account, 200 we have given him discount. So 8,000 instead of bank column you are going to write in the cash column because I have told you it is not deposited on the same day. So this you have to be careful. It is not deposited on the same day. So we assume that we have received in the form of cash since it is not deposited. So 8,000 in the cash column. Next one, Ramu's check deposited into bank. Now we are going to deposit into bank. So it is a contra entry. Even though the amount is not given, it is understood that. So how much worth check we have received from Ramu? That is 8,000. So here the amount is 8,000 only. Even though if they don't give in the problem also, it is 8,000 only. So 8,000 worth check is deposited into bank. So your entry is bank to cash. So it is a contra entry once again. So how do you write? By bank account to cash account. So by bank account, indicate by the letter C contra, but you will write the amount in the cash column since it is bank here. Okay. So here in the same way, you will write to cash, indicate by the letter C, but you will write the amount in the bank column because it is a contra entry. Hope you are clear with contra entry. Next one is paid to Venkatesh cash 3,800 and he allowed a discount. In the sense, we received a discount. He allowed in the sense what? We received the discount. So what is the entry? Venkatesh account data to cash to discount. So how do you write? That is by Venkatesh. So I'll write by Venkatesh, discount received is 200 and amount paid is 3,800. Next one is sold goods to Chandan and received a check of rupees 6,000 and deposited into bank on the same day. Now see here, we have deposited on the same day. Now we have to take into the bank column. Clear? So now how do you write? two sales, but you will write the amount in the bank column since it is deposited on the same day. So, you will write 2 Chandan's account, then you will write the amount in the bank column because it is deposited on the same day. Okay, so this you have to be careful. Next is withdrawn for office use. So, here the goods or the amount is withdrawn for office use. So, what is the entry? Cash to bank. So, it is a contra entry once again. So, how do we write? By cash to bank. So, by cash account, it is a contra entry. Write the amount in the bank column. Here, how do we write? To bank account, contra entry. Write the amount in the cash column. So, this is a contra entry. Next is 29th. Paid wages by cash. So, what is the entry? Wages to cash. So, how do we write? By wages, but the amount in the cash column. So, by wages, amount in the cash column, and rent they have paid by check. So, your entry is rent to bank. So, I'll write by rent, but the amount in the bank column. Now, as usual, you will balance both the side and the balancing figure will be carried down. But no need to balance the discount column. So, this you need not balance, you just write the total. So, 500 plus 200, it is 700 here, and in the credit side, it is only 200 in the discount column. Next, if you see the cash column, it is 1,11,000, where here it is less. So, you'll get a balancing figure of 56,200. Here also in the bank column, it is 84,000 in the debit side, but in the credit side, you'll get a balancing figure of 61,000. So, whatever the amount you have carried down here, bring down the balance here. So, how do you write? By balance, that is to balance brought down. So, on the beginning of next month, to balance brought down, you'll write the cash amount as well as bank amount. So, this is about your triple column cash book. Your contra entry itself carries 2 marks. So, be careful while recording the contra entry. And one more thing, if the check is received but it is not deposited on the same day, you will assume that you have received the cash, but you are not going to write in the bank column. If it is deposited on the same day, then only you will write in the bank column. So, this much you have to be careful with triple column cash book. Now, next question is from the following trial balance extracted. So, they have asked a question on final accounts. Okay. So, where you have to prepare trading, profit and loss account and balance sheet. Now, just I'll explain the question. So, where do we record and how to record in the trading, profit and loss account and balance sheet. So, drawings and capital, where do we record? In the balance sheet. Next, purchases and sales, trading account, freight, trading account, salaries, profit and loss account, debtors and creditors, balance sheet, rent, profit and loss account, bad debts, profit and loss account, sundry expenses, profit and loss account, returns, trading account, interest on investment, P&L account, discount. So, we have discount allowed and this is discount allowed and discount received. So, we'll record in P&L account, provision for bad debts, P&L account, land and building, it's an asset, so balance sheet. Next, investment, balance sheet, furniture, balance sheet, bills payable, balance sheet, wages, trading account, postage and telegram, P&L account, carriage, that is trading account, commission, will record in P&L account. Okay. So, how do you begin? Next, they have given certain adjustments. So, all the adjustments should come twice in your solution. So, closing stock will record in trading account and in the balance sheet. Reserve for bad debts. So, once will take in P&L account and once in balance sheet. Interest on capital, P&L account and balance sheet. Depreciate land and building. So, this also in P&L account and in balance sheet. Outstanding wages and prepaid salary. So, outstanding wages will take in trading account and in balance sheet. Next, salary will take in P&L account and in balance sheet. Next, goods costing 10,000 were destroyed by fire. So, this comes thrice in your solution. Once in trading account, once in profit and loss account and once in balance sheet. Okay. So, you can go through the previous problem what we have already solved so that you can clearly understand here. Okay. So, first you will write how to present your solution. Write the heading, trading and profit and loss account for the year ending 31st/3/2021. So we'll begin with to purchase less returns. So this returns, where do we find? This you have to be very careful. This is purchase return and this is sales return. The amount in the debit side will be sales return, amount in the credit side will be purchase return. But when compared to purchase, this is purchase and the amount credit side will be sales. Okay. So purchase minus return, sales minus returns. Okay. So that you have to be careful. Then to freight. So what you will record in your trading account? All the expenses that takes place in the factory, which is called as direct expenses. So freight is an direct expense. Next, wages. We have outstanding wages also. Add that outstanding wages. So I'll get 30,000. Next, carriage inward. It is an direct expense. Take here. Next, coming to income side, by sales less returns. So I have told you how you have to take the returns also. That is 3,48,000. Closing stock they'll give in the adjustments. Okay. So that you have to take. Next, by stock destroyed by fire. What is the worth of stock destroyed? 10,000. So this you have to take in your trading account. Next, balance both the side. Balancing figure will be gross profit. So once you get the gross profit, bring down that gross profit here. Next, you will record all the indirect expenses in the debit side and indirect income in the credit side. Wherever there is adjustment, you have to make those adjustments. Now, salary, prepaid you have to minus. Always remember, outstanding, anything outstanding you have to add. Prepaid you have to minus and write here. Next, rent we have. This items will get in your trial balance. So, go through one by one. Next, bad debts. For this adjustment is there, add new RBD minus old RBD. So that you have to be careful. Next, sundry expenses, discount. So discount allowed and discount received we have. Discount allowed in the debit side, discount received in the credit side. Interest on investment is an income. So that also you have to record. Next, postage and telegram, commission. Next, go through the adjustment. We have left certain adjustment. So that you have to record here. Interest on capital. So you have to calculate on capital. 2,10,000 is capital into interest 6%. So you'll get 12,600. Depreciation on building. So we know the value of building is 1 lakh, which is given in the trial balance, into 10% they have given in the adjustment. So calculate that, you will get 10,000. Depreciation on furniture also. So 20,000 they have given the amount of furniture in the trial balance, into 15% you will get 3,000. Next, loss. So this you have to be careful. I have told you it should come thrice. So in your profit and loss account, 10,000 worth goods is been destroyed, but the insurance company have given only 7,000. In the sense 3,000 is loss. So that you have to take in your P&L account. That is 3,000. Next, as usual, balance both the side. Balancing figure will be net profit or net loss. So in this problem it is net profit. Now balance sheet, as usual, you are familiar with preparing the balance sheet. You will take all the assets and all the liabilities. So in your asset side we have debtors minus new RBD, which is given in the adjustment. So minus that you will get 2,09,000. Next, building minus depreciation, which is given in the adjustment. So you will get 90,000. Furniture minus depreciation, which is given in the adjustment. So you'll get 3,000 is the depreciation. So outer column 17,000. Investment they have given 80,000. Prepaid salary we have 10,000. Closing stock. Due from insurance company. What the insurance company have given? 10,000 worth goods is destroyed, but the 7,000 the claim is given. So that claim you have to write here, that is 7,000. Coming to your liability side, we have creditors, then outstanding wages, bills payable. So these are all things you have to write as per the adjustment as well as trial balance. Next, capital, we have opening capital. What are the adjustments to be made for capital? Opening capital, add additional capital, add net profit, add interest on capital, minus drawings, minus interest on drawings. In this problem, they have given opening capital and we have net profit, we have interest on capital, add all these, minus drawings, so I'll get 2,94,000. So add both assets and liability side, so I'll get 4,93,000 and the balance sheet should tally. This will be a final accounts problem. You are familiar with all the final accounts because we had solved many problems relating to that from PUC itself. Okay, so here there are few complicated adjustments. Go through those adjustments as per the problem. Okay, so this will be a 15 marks problem. Next, your last 15th question of your question paper is journalize the following transactions in the books of Mr. Chandan and prepare the cash account. Here, journal entries will be asked for 15 marks and they will ask you specifically which ledger account you have to prepare. So, in this problem, they have asked cash account to prepare. You have to record all the journal entry and prepare cash account. Okay. Now, we shall go through the transactions one by one. Simultaneously, we shall go through the journal entries. Okay, so 1/1/2022 commenced business with cash 75,000 and bank balance 1 lakh. What is your journal entry? Cash account data, bank account data to capital account. You will write the amount. And hope you know the format of journal. What is the format? First, you have to write the heading journal entries in the books of Mr. Chandan. What is the format? Date, particulars, ledger folio, debit, credit. And your first journal entry, as usual, you will write the date and write the journal entry. But make sure that while writing the journal entry, it should be in the same format. So, DR should be here. You leave some space and continue with 2. Okay. And you have to write the narration in the bracket which starts from being. And you will draw a line only to the particulars column, not for the full journal. Okay, so I'll draw column only for the particulars column. So what is your journal entry? Cash account data, bank account data to capital account, narration, being business started with bank as well as cash balance. Next, 2/1/2022 paid into bank. What is the journal entry? Bank account data to cash account, being cash paid into bank, you will write the amount here. So here also while writing the amount, this should be dash and you have to write in the same pattern. Okay. Next is 3/1/2022 bought goods for cash. What is the entry? Purchases account data to cash account. So your third journal entry is purchases account data to cash account. Narration being goods purchased for cash. That is 20,000. Next, rent paid. What is the entry? Rent to bank. So your entry is that is rent paid by cash. No? So rent to cash. If it is by bank, then rent to bank. So it is rent to cash 6,000. Next one, goods sold to Bhumika 8,000 and received a check. So what is the entry? So bank account data to sales account. So your entry is bank to sales being goods sold and received a check. Next one, 9th, 7th, sold goods for cash. So your entry is cash to sales. So your entry is cash to sales being goods sold for cash. You will write the amount as it is given in the journal. Next is 9th, sold goods to Rajini. Your entry is Rajini's account data to sales account. Rajini to sales being goods sold to Rajini on credit. Next is 12, cash received from Rajini. Your entry is cash account data to Rajini's account 10,000. Cash to Rajini. Next, 18th, withdrawn from bank for personal use. Drawings to bank. Here you have to be careful. If they have given withdrawn cash, then drawings to cash. Here they have clearly given withdrawn from bank. So your entry is drawings to bank. So drawings to bank. And the next one, salary paid. Salary to cash. Salary to cash. So what is the journal entry? Salary account data to cash account being salary paid for cash. Next is 21st. Further capital introduced. 25,000 in cash. So normal journal entry, cash account data to capital account. So cash to capital being further capital introduced. Next is purchase furniture from Vijay. So furniture account data to Vijay's account. So what is the entry? Furniture to Vijay being furniture purchased from Vijay. Next, last entry, paid rupees 19,000 to Vijay and received discount from him 1,000. So what is the entry? You are paying to Vijay, Vijay's account data to cash to discount received. Or you can just write discount also. Vijay's account data to discount received to cash account. So this is about your journal. Next you will total here. So both debit and credit side should be equal. So from the beginning you will total and you will write. Now here they have particularly asked cash account. So you have to prepare cash account at the end. So what is the format? You will be having debit and credit side, date, particulars, journal folio, amount in the debit side. Again, date, particulars, journal folio, amount in the credit side. So whatever the account they have asked precisely, those account only you have to prepare. No need to prepare all the ledger accounts. Okay, because your journal is quite lengthy, so they'll ask you specifically any one of the account to be prepared. Okay, so how do you begin? So we are preparing cash account, so you have to see the journal where there is cash account. So here we have cash account, so cash to capital, which is the corresponding entry. Now cash is in the debit side, so which is the corresponding entry in the credit side to capital, but you will write the amount here 75,000. So how to write? To capital 75,000. Next, where do we have cash account? Here we have, it is credited, which is a corresponding entry debited bank. So how do you write? By bank 20,000. So by bank 20,000 with the same date of the journal. Next one is purchase to cash. So how do you write? By purchase 20,000. So by purchase 20,000. Next is we have rent to cash. So how do you write? By rent 6,000. So by rent 6,000. In the same way, correspondingly, you will record all the entries in the ledger. So if you see the next one, we have, here we don't have cash account. Here we have two sales. Two sales in the debit side 10,000. Next we have two Rajini, that is 10,000. Next we have by salary 2,000. Then two capital 25,000. Next, by Vijay, we have 19,000. By Vijay, 19,000. So this is how we are going to record all the accounts corresponding to cash. Then you will balance both the side. Balancing figure has to be carried down. So here your debit side is more than credit side. So you got a balancing figure of 53,000. So bring down that balance, that is to balance, brought down at the beginning of next month. So this is how you are going to prepare your ledger account. So hope you are clear. So in your part A, you are going to have 7 questions, out of which you have to answer any 5. Next, part B, that is 10 marks question. Out of 4 questions, you have to answer any 2, where 2 questions will be theory and 2 is of practical question. Practical question on BRS as well as a problem on trial balance. Next, part C is of 15 marks, where they will ask you 4 questions, out of which you have to answer any 2. 1 will be a theory question from your first unit, that is you have to learn the accounting concepts properly. Next question will be on 3-column cash book, a question on final accounts and a question on journal and ledger. Hope you have understood the session. This will be the previous year question paper for first sem B.B.A, that is on fundamentals of business accounting. Hope you are clear with the whole question paper, what would be the pattern, what type of questions they have asked and how you have to answer the question. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.